because the Lord is going to restore everything. You're going to have a total different vibration on the earth, a total different smell. You're not going to be walking down the street and smell shit and piss, you know, and no foul odors or nothing like that, because the lungs of the earth are going to be given back to it, which is all these trees and all of these flowers, and it's going to be a whole total different vibration. You know, you're going to see the aura and how things are going to change and how elevated things are going to be. Our senses are going to be heightened, you know? Everything about us is going to be glorified.
Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary. And I will make the place of my feet glorious. The whole earth is at rest, and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice in thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fella is come up against us.
Because the Lord is going to restore everything. You're going to have a total different vibration on the earth, a total different smell. You're not going to be walking down the street and smell shit and piss, you know, and no foul odors or nothing like that, because the lungs of the earth are going to be given back to it, which is all these trees and all of these flowers, and it's going to be a whole total different vibration. You know, you're going to see the aura and how things are going to change and how elevated things are going to be. Our senses are going to be heightened, you know? Everything about us is going to be glorified.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing the word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashem Al Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers and listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shah. And what I want to get into today, you know, pretty much, all right, go into how, you know, Esau Edom, you know, through his entertainment and his you know, his media has destroyed a whole generation, and especially Jake, all right, because the propaganda, you know, and the enchantments that we see running rampant in the earth, the target, all right, is Jake. Now, a lot of nations are affected, you know, by it, but the target is always Jake, you know, and Esau Edom, all right, has spent billions and trillions of dollars to keep our people, you know, in the condition of sin. Because as long as our people, all right, live these lifestyles of sin, which the Bible calls iniquity, you know, when you just live, your lifestyle is based in sin, you know, from what you eat, you know, how you act, your standard, you know, and Esau Edom has spent a lot of money and energy and resources and time keeping our people in the sinful mindset, all right, to keep us in this low place. Now, I'm gonna start off with some scriptures, and then I got some videos, you know, I want to show. But let me share the blue letter real quick. So when you go to Isaiah 9:16, all right, which we always get, is the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, verse 16. It says, for the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed. Now, let's get that word you know, because the leaders that, you know, our people have pretty much, all right, been given within this captivity, especially during, you know, from the 60s on up, especially, have pretty much been personalities and, you know, CIA operatives, man. You know, a lot of these people that our people consider leaders and, you know, some great have been CIA operatives, man. And they were set up to cause our people to err. All right, now you go to the word err. All right, in the Hebrew, it's ta'ah. All right, ta'ah, which is to err, to wonder, to go astray, to stagger. All right, to go astray. It says to sin. You see, to sin ethically. All right, because our people have a standard that's rooted in sin. You know, the slave died. All right, chitlins, and, you know, hog maws, and, you know, the things that you know, the diet of our people is rooted in sin. You see, they worship, all right, another deity, you know, Jesus Christ or Allah. You know, they serve other gods, you know, or whatever they into, but it's based in sin. All right, and our people was led that way. All right, it says to be led astray. All right, to cause to wonder of intoxication. You know, it said to cause to err, to mislead mentally and morally. And we're going to get that. We're going to get those examples in the videos, man. To cause to err, to mislead mentally and morally. You know, and what our people consider righteous is sin. You see, what our people consider an okay lifestyle is sin. Now, let's go from there. Get another one. When you go to Psalm, all right, chapter 10. All right, this is Psalms 10 and 9. It says, he lieth and waits secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. All right, speaking of Jake, he doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. Now, let's get that word net. You know, what else is how, you know, it went into the definition. You know, so he pretty much preys on the minds, all right, of our people. You know, this man preys on the mind of our people, man, because he knows the legacy that we come from. All right. Esau Edom knows the legacy that we come from, and he preys on our mindset because he knows, all right, when we're in our right mind, they through. All these heathens know that. You see? Now, when you go into net in the Hebrew, it's Rashath. All right, Rashath. All right. Now, when you go to definition 3, it says of leaders leading people to sin. You see that? Of leaders leading people to sin. And a lot of these, you know, what they call icons of today. All right. What people call icons and legends, and, you know, people consider great, and, you know, the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and, you know, all these different people that our people idolize, they were set up to lead us to sin. It was a trap. You know, it was a snare, it was a net. And once Esau gets you to fall into that net of idolizing, all right, one of these characters that he has set up, then he can draw you in to these alternative lifestyles, man. What you see our people are engulfed in today. All right. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and cue these videos up. Go ahead and cue these videos. Now, this is from the channel Industry Hoax, you know, which, you know, he put out some pretty good content. He go in on Tupac a lot, but I just want to play a little bit of this, not the whole thing.
God doesn't care if you're mad and angry. He wants you to talk to him either way. So I got down on my knees.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So let me get this video up here. You know, we're gonna watch it. But yeah, pretty much, you know, he's pretty much gonna go into, you know, how, you know, just dealing with Tupac, you know, and many others. He just one of many, you know, how he was set up to destroy a generation. Because see, that Thug Life Demon, which Eliasha Woman did the video not too long ago, going to Thug and Diva, and that's pretty much, you know, the entities, all right, the energy that our people come in, the majority of our people, you know, the woman, you know, coming in the energy of that diva, all right. You know, how you had Diana Ross and Patti LaBelle and, you know, all these different female singers, you know, they would call themselves divas. You see, them was enchantments, man. You see? And then you had, you know, especially this Tupac era where you had what? That thug energy, man. All right. So let me share the screen. I'm gonna play some of it. And if y'all wanna watch, you know, the whole thing, I'll just put it in the comment board if y'all want to watch the whole video, you know, on your own time. But I'm gonna play, you know, the beginning of it, you know, probably about half of it maybe. You know, we're gonna get some more precepts, then we'll go to another video, man. You know. But hold on. Mute myself.
Come on and rock me. Oh, long time no see. Do you have a little time? I wanna know what's been going on in your life. Brings back memories. Rock me tonight for old time's sake.
It's like this. The masses, the hungry people, they outweigh the rich. So as long as I appeal to the hungry and the poverty-stricken people, it's all good. I'm gonna have a job for life. It's these rich people who worried about the fooling the poor people. It's these rich people who worried about the fooling the poor people.
There's a weird game that goes on, because now, as a result of your art, you're becoming one of the rich.
Yes.
Why do beliefs in music artists persist? One contributing factor is likely the fact that media have exposed them to us repeatedly. In the original video, we used Lean and Honor to explain mind control. For this version, we will simply use quotes. Understanding the part of the programming that we received. Programming is whenever you get to the repetition. Whenever you hear a rap song, there are things that are going to be said over and over again. There are going to be words that are going to be used over and over again. There are going to be particular phrases. They're going to be said over and over again. And the repetition becomes a program. Anytime you get the repetition of a thing, it becomes a program.
Thug life is the only thing up in the 90s. Thug life, I mean like a little bit, then thug life like a lot. My thug life niggas in thug life. What thug life, baby? The craziest thug life niggas. Crazy. If they ask you, you tell them. I'm with that thug life. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah. Okay, who we got right here? Thug life, y'all don't forget that shit. What type nigga is a thug life nigga? You know, police, just some thug niggas popping from block to block. I want to get it clear that thug life is not one thing. No, but I'm a thug, and they thugs. They can relate to thug life there. Come, we finna go on and present thug life out there. Wait a minute. Didn't I already hear a group called Thug something? Who is Thug Life? But this the original. We are the original thugs. Because these white folks see us as thugs. We thugs and niggas to these motherfuckers. Thug Life. Thug Life. Thug Life. That's my thug. What's that mean? Thug Life, that's the posse. That's my new posse. That's my new way of thinking. That's how we roll.
Military. You know what I'm saying? I'm a thug. I'm a thug, and my definition of thug comes from.
Yes, I am gonna say that I'm a thug. I'm not saying I'm a thug because I want. There's no love for a thug. There's no heaven for a thug, and there's no love for a thug. It's all about that thug life, and they think Thug Life is a rap group. No.
I'll probably say it 3 more times. See, in my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over and over again for the truth to sink in, to kind of catapult the propaganda. Terrorist, terror organization, terrorist attacks, terrorism, terrorist network, terrorist attacks, terrorist group, terrorists, terrorist, terrorists, instruments of terror, terror network, terror cells, terrorists, terrorizing terror and murder.
If you only list your vacation home on Airbnb, you might attract someone looking for a quaint little studio.
The key to mind control is repetition. If you say things enough over and over again, people begin to believe and begin to accept it because it's repeated over and over. In the absence of adequate intellectual process or critical thinking, people will accept a program because it's repeated over and over and over again. So if you look at the rap lyrics, you begin to figure out which phrases and which words are being said over and over. You can figure out what the program is because of its repetition.
This on cable, right?
Yeah.
So it's cool for us to be like outlandish. 2 times quick in the 90s, and we drinking and smoking weed all the time. We high till I die, you know what I'm saying? We ain't stopping. What type nigga is the thug life nigga? Thug life nigga be the craziest!
The word thug was originally, and often still is, a term with strong negative connotations. The word carries a coded, alternate meaning of a person behaving badly. Tupac, who glamorized the term thug life, and gave it a layered meaning.
H-U-G-L-I-F-E. The hate you gave little infant, U-C-K, everybody. Meaning, what you feed us as seeds grows and blows up in your face. That's thug life.
In the 90s, and we drinking and smoking weed all the time. We high till I die, you know what I'm saying? We ain't stopping. Can't nobody fuck with us either. I'm with that thug life. Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
I'm gonna really live this lifestyle, and I'm gonna make other motherfuckers really live this lifestyle.
So I'm gonna really live this lifestyle, and I'm gonna make other motherfuckers really live this lifestyle.
12th grade. Some people graduate from high school and don't seek to do anything else. So they continually live the thug life.
I'm gonna make other motherfuckers really live this lifestyle.
But I'm doing it for the kid that really lives a thug life and feels like it's hopeless. And when I say it like that, it's like I reach him. But for the person that I was trying to reach, he'll pick it up and I'll be able to talk to him again.
You may have noticed that, when people use the term thugs, it becomes easier to forget their humanity. We start to use extermination concepts like, clear them out, or get rid of them, or they're a menace. The fact that Tupac used the word thug life over and over again, while he himself never lived it, only indicates his goal was to lower the energy, targeting the young black males from broken homes. This was all done to alter minds, and have young black men looked at as violent, criminals, etc. Look at his tattoo, his clothing line, all used for embedding that thug mentality in our minds. Let's look at an example. Here's Andre.
I had to bring HBO down to see you, Bruno, because when we went to the unit yesterday, they didn't see you up there, and they inquired where was the rapper. How much time did you say if you get found guilty, you would get?
They changed my time. It would be 115.
115 years.
In 1997, he was 16 years old, a kid convicted of trying to murder a police officer. Notice he has adopted the thug life mindset.
Thug life. That's my philosophy, thug life. We'll tell you the definition of thug. I'm the definition of thug.
Okay, what is it about you that makes you be labeled a thug?
I don't know no games.
Huh?
I don't go for nothing. Ain't on no games. I ain't gonna let nobody chump me if they big or small. I ain't going for nothing. I'ma handle mine the best way I can. If I got stab somebody, kill somebody, rob somebody, take somebody's stuff, do what I can. If I can't get it, then take it.
What made you develop such an attitude?
As you look in his cell, what do you see? A picture of Tupac, and if that's not enough, he calls his friends the Outlaws.
We got a thug family. We a family. We ain't separated. We a thug family.
Andre even admits what he's lost in.
I'm still searching for myself. I'm still lost in the life of thug life. You know what a thug is?
Thug is like when you go hard, you don't care for whatever.
Thug is a person who ain't never had nothing. Been struggling all their life. Ain't never had nothing. Don't know what it mean. You can't sit here and say you ain't never had nothing. You got a coat on, you got some shoes on that cost money. You can't say you ain't never had nothing.
Same to you.
I'm man, I tell him, man, I'm thug like whatever. You know, I'm in this shit deep.
Always gonna be thug life?
Yeah.
The cycle continued because the brother of Andre has followed the same path.
Kevin Burno insists he's innocent. As the judge prepared to sentence him today, he became disruptive, calling the prosecutor a liar and interrupting the judge. U.S. Marshals had to forcibly remove him from the courtroom. It was March of 2013. Officer Sean Hickman was on patrol riding his motorcycle when Kevin Burno deliberately rammed his car into Hickman, sending him flying 15 feet through the air. Hickman waited nearly 30 minutes for an ambulance that night. A jury found Burno guilty of 9 counts, including assault with a deadly weapon.
Do you see the domino effect of thug life?
Thug life, man. You go hard, man. Fuck everybody who you want, say fuck, man. You got to get yours, and fuck everybody else. You don't get yours, then you just show. No, you gotta do, you gotta take 5, man.
And I'm gonna make other motherfuckers really live this lifestyle.
As Lean Honor said, whatever is being said over and over again, that's the program that is being embedded into your subconscious mind, bypassing your conscious awareness, and being embedded into your subconscious mind as a program, and then later on in life, you begin to live that programming out without even thinking about it.
Came on a one-way trip to prison. That's what I called him, on a one-way trip to prison.
That's what the fuck I am. So nigga, count your money and guarantee that's gonna get done, nigga. Cause I'm
You can easily train yourself to listen faster. If you are able to listen fast, you can.
Cause I'm a motherfucking soldier. My pit bull will never stop. We're trying to rock. Fuck cops. Them son of a bitches. Take me off my damn block. But that's alright. Cause I'm gonna be right tight. And every night I'm screaming thug lights.
We also have the fake case of Ron Howard, which was used to push Tupac further into the spotlight.
This article that was in the paper where the guy killed an officer and then said it was because of your lyrics. I guess the actual tape was in the car or something.
Kind of bad.
Yeah, it's so much stuff, man.
All right, so as you can see, you know, that this guy Tupac played a major part in the culture, you know, of our people today. All right, because he glorified smoking weed, glorified tattoos, all right, glorified adultery. You remember that song? You know, they hit him up. All right, he started off with saying, "First off, I effed your wife." All right, which is adultery. You see, and pretty much Jake adopted that as a lifestyle. You see, Jake adopted them lyrics as a lifestyle. You got Jake is finna serve 115 years based on the lifestyle. All right, that was you know fed to him, you know, through rap lyrics, man. You know, because when you look at it, Tupac is just the first prototype, all right, of the niggas that we see today. You know, when you got your drill music, your Chicago rappers, you know, you got them niggas in Baton Rouge and, you know, New Orleans, and, you know, Tupac was just their first prototype of that, you know, and now you see what we have today, where it's just deeply embedded, you know, into our people, you know, and Esau glorifies him, putting them on stage and send them on world tours and videos with Ferraris and, you know, all type of commercials, and, you know, but why does he fund? You see, why is Esau funding this type of behavior? Because it keeps our people, all right, in the condition of sin. You see? So when you go, let's get some precepts, and then you go to the next video. But let's get a few precepts. When you go to Isaiah, all right, Isaiah 59, and can the brother put the book of Judith? It's in 25. Can the brother put the big book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 5, verse 20 and 21. All right. Now, when you read Isaiah 59 and 1, it said, "Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy, that it cannot hear." All right. And what is this saying? That there's no shortcoming, all right, on the Lord's end. The reason we're in the condition that we're in, the reason, you know, we suffer the circumstances, all right, that we suffer is not, you know, because Yahweh Bashem outside is not able, you know, to hear, or he doesn't have the reach, you know, to deliver us. All right, verse 2. "But your iniquities have separated between you and your power, and your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear." And the elites know this. You see, they know this. That's why, you know, they use this formula of keeping us in sin. Their rulership depends on us being in sin. That's why the biggest threat to this man's infrastructure is repentance. All right, true repentance, man. All right. Now that word in the Hebrew is awan. All right. When you go to iniquities, all right, and it says, get definition B. It says guilt of iniquity, guilt as of great, all right, guilt, all right, of condition. And see, our people are in a sinful condition. You know, sin is glorified. All right. You go to the Strong's, it said perversity, i.e., moral. You see, and our people have gauged their morals based off rap music, R&B music, TV shows. You see, living single, all these things were nothing but enchantments and conditioning, all right, of our people, all right, to take on certain lifestyles. And once Esau Edom separates you from Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, he can pretty much get you to do anything. You see, once this man is able to separate our people from their power, he's pretty much to get you into everything. You see? Now, when you go to all right, this Avalon of War, all right, this Judah 5:20. It says, now therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we, all right, shall overcome them. So the heathens, I believe it's an Ammonite, all right, talking to a Babylonian general, a Syrian general one, but heathens are having a discussion about Israel. So this was common knowledge that if we sin or there was error within us, that we can be overcome. All right, we can be overcome. But verse 21, on the flip side, Judah 5:21 said, but if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their power be before them, and we become a reproach before all the world. So he pretty much was like, look, if they're obedient to their power, we might as well keep moving, because if we try to attack them or go against them while they're being obedient, we're gonna be embarrassed, man. You see? So this was common knowledge amongst the heathen. And you think Esau Edom doesn't know this? And that's why he spends so much, all right? He spends so much money and resources in keeping our people in sin. You see? Now, let me get this one. A brother can put Sirach 4:28, Now, this is the brother Prince of Yahweh 6. And it says, the fear of the Lord driveth away sins, and where it is present, it turneth away wrath. You see? And that's why the biggest threat to this man's empire is us repenting as a nation. You see? Let's get there real quick. All right? Because these heathens know we link up with our power, they through. Now, when you get all right, now these are heathens. They're pretty much complaining, all right, about us building the temple, during the time of Xerxes, and they was complaining because they seen us building, all right, and that temple represents what, all right, the spirit of the Lord in the earth. You see, the Levites would do their service in the temple, and they represented what, man? Our connection to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai in the earth. You see? But now, in this time, we have Yahweh Shai in the heavens, and that's our connection. All right? Now, when you go to Ezra 4:11, it said, this is the copy of the letter that they sent unto him, even unto Artaxerxes the king. It says that thy servants, the men on this side of the river, and as such, all right, and at such a time, it says, be it known. Let me see. It says, be it known unto the king that the Jews which came up from thee to us are come unto Jerusalem, building the rebellious and bad city. Yeah, they call it a rebellious and bad city because of what? Our ways are contrary to the heathen, and us and our righteousness is a rebellion against this wicked pagan society, man. All right, the scripture say, he that turneth to righteousness make himself a prey. All right, he that turneth from evil make himself a prey. you know. And right now, it's a spiritual rebellion that we're doing, you know. And it says, and have set up the walls thereof and joined the foundation. Be it known unto the king that if this city be builded and the wall set up again, then will they not pay toll, tribute, and custom, and so thou shalt damage the revenue, all right, of the kings. Now, because we have maintenance from the king's palace, and it was not meet for us to see the king's dishonor, therefore we sent and certified the king, that search may be made in the book of records of thy fathers, so shalt thou find in the book of records, and know that this city is a rebellious city and hurtful unto kings and provinces, and that they have moved sedition within the same of old time, for which cause was the city, all right, destroyed. We certified the king that if this city be built again and the walls thereof set up, by this mean thou shalt have no more portion on this side of the river. So they telling Xerxes, like, look, if you let them build, all right, your kingdom is done. You know, if you let them build that temple, if you let them get that connection back with their power, all right, you done. You know, and that shows you what these heathens knew, all right, about our relationship with our power, man. You know, it said, then sent the king an answer. Let me see, I might want to jump back. I jumped to 19. It says, and I commanded, and search have been made, and it is found that this city of old time have made insurrection against kings, and that rebellion and sedition have been made therein. There have been mighty kings also over Jerusalem, which have ruled over all countries beyond the river, and toll and tribute and custom were paid unto them. You see, rulership, repentance, it leads to rulership. And these heathens know that. All right. It says, give ye now commandment to cause them, these men, to cease, and that their city be not builded until another commandment shall be given from me, man. You know, so that was in the king's ear to stop that building, because they know once we lock into our power, they done. You see? Now, let's get that. All right, this from the brother. This from the brother Bun Yasha'Allah. It's Sirach 4:28. It says, strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. You see that? Striving for the truth, all right, even unto death, and Yahweh Shem Al-Shai is going to fight, you know, on our behalf, man. You know? So obedience makes us close with our power, man. All right? I think that let's see. Might be Wisdom of Solomon. Pull this up real quick. I think it's Wisdom of Solomon. Yeah, if a brother can post Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6, all right, verse Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6, verse 18 through 20. You know? Well, let me cue up this other video real quick. All right, brother, get that.
Sweet dreams are made of.
Now this gonna be another video from the same guy. All right. Industry hoax. You know, I said he has some pretty decent content. You know, something to look at. You know, but you always gotta pick out the meat. You know. Pick out the bone. Now this is Brother Bayan Yasha'Allah, Wisdom of Solomon 6:18. And love is the keeping of her laws, and the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption, that obedience, man. And it says, and incorruption maketh us near. You see, and incorruption maketh us near to the Most High. All right. And that's why when we get those incorruptible bodies, we're going to be closer to our power than ever, man. It said, therefore, the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom. You see, but Esau had flooded our people with so much misinformation, all right, crazy narratives, and our people, you know, they swallowed down this philosophy as a way, as a lifestyle, you know, and you see what it has led to. Now I'm gonna play this one. He's gonna pretty much go into, you know, the CIA, all right, and then he goes into, you know, Nipsey Hussle, which is another, you know, hey, all these guys, all right, the music industry is nothing but a branch of the CIA. All right, Hollywood, all these things are nothing but branches of the CIA at the end of the day. You know, dope boys, these big major dope boys that our people idolize, there's nothing but branches of the CIA. All right, these cartel heroes that, you know, Jake idolized. All right, Pablo Escobar and all these, you know, men, you see, that our people idolize. This is nothing but CIA, all right, an extension of CIA, man. You know? Let me play this. You know, but I'm just play the part, you know, where it talks about the CIA. You know, I ain't gonna get into the Nipsey thing. You know, it is what it is. Who gives a damn? But it's just gonna show how the CIA, you know, gets down.
Because the newest version of the 2013 NDAA included an interesting amendment. This amendment legalized domestic propaganda on the American public. You heard me right. The newest NDAA wasn't just reauthorizing the indefinite detention of American citizens. It also allowed the U.S. government to legally carry out misinformation campaigns against the citizens of this country. But is this really surprising to anyone? I mean, the corporate media is basically a propaganda arm of the U.S. government anyways, isn't it? Why the need to legalize the use of propaganda when you already have an entire mainstream media establishment lacking to the White House, reprinting government press releases without question? In fact, aside from everything I just mentioned, the Pentagon already spends $4 billion a year to influence public opinion, and the Department of Defense also spends hundreds of millions of dollars on information campaigns in countless countries occupied by the U.S. military. But perhaps even more disturbing than all of this is the fact that the CIA has already been infiltrating the biggest press institutions since the early 1950s. The secret CIA campaign to spread disinformation and false stories to foreign governments during the Cold War. It did this by manipulating the media into focusing on propaganda, sabotage, and subversion. The CIA program consisted of literally paying off editors and reporters at most mainstream news outlets. The New York Times, CBS, Time, The Washington Post, Newsweek, AP, Reuters, and countless more. People to this day could still be reading and referencing these articles, not knowing that they're completely fake. And sure, this is more than 50 years ago, but let's face the facts here. Our media is much worse now and has been much more easily compromised now. So how do we know that Operation Mockingbird still isn't in effect? Well, we don't.
It is uncontested fact that the CIA has enjoyed a long and intimate relationship with some of the largest news organizations in the world, and has used this relationship to manipulate, censor, and even fabricate news stories in support of its own covert agenda. The ties between the intelligence community and the news organizations were formalized at the highest levels of management and ownership, and included, according to Bernstein, cooperation with media tycoons like Arthur Hayes Sulzberger of the New York Times, Henry Luce of Time Inc., and William Paley of CBS. Toward the end of his career, Sig Mickelson, the head of CBS News in the 1950s and the man credited with launching the career of the most trusted man in America, Walter Cronkite, admitted that CBS News worked closely with the CIA.
With launching the career of the most trusted man in America, Walter Cronkite, admitted that CBS News worked closely with the CIA.
And the man credited with launching the career of the most trusted man in America, Walter Cronkite, admitted that CBS News worked closely with the CIA.
Yo, this is Walter Cronkite. I mean, Tupac. I be getting confused.
Yo, this is Walter Cronkite. I mean, Tupac. I be getting confused. Played as kids, but things change. That's the way it is. That's just the way it is. Yeah.
Over the years, numerous specific examples of the agency's manipulation of the news media have surfaced, including multiple instances where stories that had been outright fabricated by CIA assets had resulted in the justification for military intervention. In the 1980s, for instance, a story about Russian MiGs being delivered to Nicaragua appeared on the front page of the New York Times. As CIA analyst turned whistleblower David McMichael later revealed, this had been completely made up, but was reported as fact, as a way of manipulating public opinion to support US intervention in the region. In an infamous story from the 1970s revealed by CIA whistleblower John Stockwell, a story about rapes committed by Cuban soldiers in Angola, which was widely reported around the world, had in fact been completely made up by CIA assets in the press.
So he came up with another story, which he in fact kept going for weeks, and it was a good story in terms of the CIA's propaganda interests. He had some Cuban soldiers raping some young Angolan girls. Then there was a battle, and he had that Cuban unit cut off and captured. And then he had the Cuban women, the victims, identifying their rapists. And then there was a trial, and they were convicted. And then he had them executed by a firing squad of the women who had supposedly been violated, with photographs of young African women with weapons shooting down these Cubans. There had never been a rape. There had never been the military action. The Cubans had never been captured. It was all fiction.
Stockwell did extremely well with this story. Here's the Daily Express of March the 12th, 1976. "Gun girls execute Cuban rapists" is the headline. And quoting from UNITA, it says that 17 Cubans were executed, 5 of whom had been identified as the people who had raped 4 African women a few weeks before. And here's the Evening Standard, with a bit more convincing detail, saying the Cubans were shot with their own guns. And here's the Daily Telegraph, the newspaper of record, adding a bit more detail, identifying the region from which the women came and saying that they took part in the executions. The reporter was John Bullock.
I haven't the faintest idea whether it was true, and I never said it was true. I reported somebody as saying that, as telling me that story. I certainly didn't report the facts.
Similarly, in Libya this year, shortly after Obama admitted the presence of covert operatives on the ground in Libya, identified as CIA agents by the New York Times, with the admitted goal of destabilizing the Gaddafi government, a story surfaced about Gaddafi's troops that was immediately picked up and reported unquestioningly by nearly every news outlet in the world.
In the morgue, Gaddafi soldiers killed in the fight for Ajdabiya, and in the pockets of their uniforms, Viagra and condoms, weapons of war.
President Muammar Gaddafi is also rejecting allegations he ordered his troops to rape women as a way to spread fear and dissent in the early days of the liberation.
Now, the International Criminal Court says there is evidence that Colonel Gaddafi ordered his forces to use rape as a weapon of war.
It was later admitted that there was in fact no evidence whatsoever to back up these assertions, but that news was not heralded with anything near the same attention that the original accusations had garnered. It's universally understood that such operations still take place, but without whistleblowers and insiders exposing the truth, it's impossible to tell exactly what stories in our own day and age have been completely fabricated by intelligence agencies with a vested interest in manipulating public opinion.
They're stopping it. Oh my God. Hilarious. Oh, that is. Oh my gosh, that's so good. It doesn't get more Hollywood than that. And our children go to school and have to get killed. I just spent the last 2 hours putting the burial arrangements for my daughter's funeral, who's 14.
He posted 10 years old, and he said, if you don't come out, I'm gonna hit you with the taser. I threw my hand up, the black officer moved out the way, and he still hit me with the taser.
And where did he hit you?
In the stomach area.
And
no.
What do you?
No. Yeah, that's where he hit me at.
In the groin.
Yeah.
Okay.
My kid died because nobody responded to what occurred at Sandy Hook. Those parents lost little kids. It's bad enough that I lost my 20-year-old, but I had 20 years with my son. That's all I ever have. But those people lost their children at 6 and 7 years old. How do you think they feel? And who's talking to them now? Who's doing anything for them now?
So there there you see, all right, there are a lot of things, that make it to the media, it's staged, all right, it's fake, and it's set up, to manipulate public opinion, All right, so you can imagine when he demonized the prophets, how he's just like he used their repetition, for thug life and the repetition to get folks to look at, terrorists as something that has to be dealt with by force. He's gonna do the same thing, with brothers, man, with the believers. You see, and he's gonna use a smear campaign, all right, to do so. What they call a smear campaign. Man, if I'm gonna get a couple of you brothers precept, and we're gonna get that in Job 13:4. I want to get that word. All right, forgers. Now, when you go to Psalms 5 and 6, this is Brother Prince of Yahweh 6. It says, "The Lord will destroy them that speak leasing, and the Lord will abhor," all right, which means to avoid, "the bloody and deceitful man." Esau Edom is a bloody and deceitful man because he'll push lies and propaganda to justify him going to shed blood, man. The things that he did to Native Americans, there was newspapers back then that was pushing the natives as just savage, as if the natives were just on the offensive, as if they was bloodthirsty. All right. To do what? Control the public opinion, all right, and justify him going for blood. All right. The Middle East, that whole, agenda of the Middle East. He pushed lies and propaganda in his media to justify bloodshed, man. And that's a formula of this guy. Now, this is Micah 6 and 12. It says, "For the rich men thereof are full of violence, and the inhabitants thereof have spoken lies, and their tongue is deceitful in their mouth." All right. And this is speaking of none only than Esau Edom, man, the rich man of the earth today. If let's see. If a brother can post 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 22 and 23, But this is the devil, all right, that we're dealing with. But let me get this real quick. In the blue letter. As y'all see in the blue letter. All right. And this is from the Brother Prince of Yahweh 6, Psalm 71 and 4. It said, "Deliver me, O my power, out of the hand of the wicked, out of the hand of the unrighteous, all right, and cruel man. And this man runs his empire in an extremely, all right, unrighteous way." Everything is fabricated, man. All this man does is lie. All right. Now, let's get that in Job. I got one more video. All right, this is Job 13 and 4. It says, "But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value." You see? Now, when you go into forgers in the Hebrew, all right, and it's that word, all right, to Paul in the Hebrew, which, all right, means to what? It says to smear, to plaster over, and he plastered over his lies over the truth, all right. But then that word smear, well, you got that term smear campaign. You see, stick, all right, a glue, and what he tries to do, he tries to stick, he tries to stick pretty much a stigma to people. All right, he made that term terrorist stick, all right, to the Arabs. You see, he made that term savage stick, to the Native Americans, man. He made that term thug stick. All right, he glued that term, to Jake, mainly Judah, what you got, Northern Kingdom gangs too. You see? Just like he trying to make that term black, stick, be glued to us, man. And you have Israelite groups that helping them. ISUBK and ISUC, the main one. IUIC as the main ones that try to still push, that black, incorporate black, all right, within the ministry, man. But we know if he ain't got his hands in nothing else, you best believe, all right, these camps, there's camps that are operating, all right, under CIA, all right, guidelines, man. There's camps that are extensions of the CIA, man. Now, let's get this. This is crazy.
This game, you're not ready for it.
You're in the middle of this beautiful sci-fi environment, and you're seeing intrigue, the espionage, the alliances form, the power that
I cover this topic.
All right. So let's get this real quick, and then we go to the next video, which, it kind of segues into something else. All right, but since I got y'all attention, I want to show y'all this video I seen right before, I started the screen. Now this is 1 Peter 2:22. It says, "Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth." All right, and that's Yahushua, who when he was reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously. And Yahushua was the example how we should carry ourselves as we are finna be lied on, man. We're finna be, brought under false accusations, and Esau Edom is gonna try to, make unrighteous judgment stick. But see, we're committing ourselves through our obedience now to the judgment of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. But this man is gonna come with all type of gimmicks and games, to try to make an unrighteous judgment stick, but it's not gonna be able to, man. All right, because there's a judge that's above this guy. Now, as you can see, and pretty much they putting it right in your face now. All right, here it is in Germany. They have sheep and goats lined up, and they make a syringe. All right, to promote the juice. All right. So pretty much they telling you people that you're the sheep. He's herding sheep. All right. He's telling you that you're the sheeple. If a brother can put that definition on the comment board for sheeple, finish. And then we can go ahead and put let's get 2nd Esdras 5 and 2nd Esdras chapter 5 verse 1 and 2. So let's let this play. But You know, he's putting it right in your face, man. And the elites, you know, are so comfortable, you know, with the stupidity of the average citizen. You know, they just put it right in your face, man.
No matter what it seems to be, even something as ridiculous as this, I get some type of a strike. So let me make it really clear. This is not me giving out any medical information. I'm just talking about a really cheap publicity stunt, the same that we've seen from governments around the world over and over and over again to persuade, influence, and brainwash the masses. So again, this is not any medical information, nor is it an opinion being given, because I'm not allowed to have an opinion. So I'm just going to show you the absolute nonsense going on. But again, I want to make it clear, if you're not subbed to my backup channel, you should do so now, because there's a chance that I might get a strike here for no reason whatsoever. So please make sure you're subbed to the channel. It's called The Fire Rises, and I'll be putting up new content over there as well. And of course, you could always follow me on the website at callfornuprising.com. I've talked about the ridiculous stuff over the last year. We've had free hamburgers, free donuts, free lap dances, all sorts of freebies, $100 gift cards, all sorts of things to get people to go and take the magic potion. Well, this might take the cake, because they're not really giving you much of anything. And if this has an effect on you, you may have been given a lobotomy at some point in your life, or perhaps you were asleep and somebody pulled a Hannibal Lecter and carved open your head and took a dump in your brain where your brain's supposed to be, and then re-sewed you up. Because if this affects you and influences you, then we really are a lost society. In Germany, we have, and of course this has biblical connotations to it, because of what doesn't, right? Everything always seems to be referencing the Bible. We have a giant syringe of 700 goats and sheep, you guessed it, that was created in Germany as a way to persuade people to go and get the potion. Now, how in the world this could like, if you see this and you're just like, you know what? I've held out for 2 years. I didn't want to get it. I was worried about what could happen to me, or the side effects or things like that. But you know what? Look at this. A giant syringe of goats and sheep. I'm going to CVS right now. I'm going to go to CVS. I might pick up a Preparation H while I'm there and take my magic potion. Oh, I mean, really? Germany is taking the unique approach to encouraging its citizens to get the magic potion. To promote the potion among its 83 million citizens, the European nation arranged about 700 sheep and goats in the shape of a syringe that stretched almost 300 feet, right? And then what? We get a little flyby here of the photograph. So how this is supposed to influence people is beyond me. But I mean, in today's world, there will be people who are like, wow, cool, I'm going to go get it. And then nobody's going to go, huh? What? This of all the things? You don't want the $100 gift card at least, which, you buy a pair of sneakers? No, this picture really motivates you. Okay. Handlers used bread to help coax the animals into making the syringe shape in Germany. And since sheep are such likable animals, maybe they can get the message over better. Oh, that is the thinking behind it. So tell me that we don't live in a world of insane human beings. That sheep are likable animals. So by having sheep and goats make this, don't worry about side effects, anything else. This should persuade you. Holy moly. And of course they use sheep and goats, because we all know Matthew 25 verses 31 through 36. But when the Bible talks about the sheep and the goats, right? When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people one from another as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. And it looks like that's something that they did here. Always referencing the Bible. They can't say that they're not. They'll just be like, well, we had goats and sheep. Oh, so you separate the goats and the sheep. Half of the side is goats, the other half is sheep. Right? Nothing biblical there at all. I mean, give me an utter break, right? And of course, the sheep and the goats, some people know in Matthew chapter 25 as the judgment of the nations, right? And we have a lot going on with the nations and judgment and the magic potion versus the unmagic potion.
All right, so you see that they have sheep and goat, making all right, the syringe for the juice, man. You know, and Esau just putting it right in your face, man. Because like I say, he's so comfortable with the stupidity of the masses, you know, that he all right, he becomes sloppy, man. You know, and real laxed. You see, but as a brother put up the definition, beyond Yasha'Allah, all right, now there's a definition of sheeple. It says people who are docile, compliant, or easily influenced, people likened to sheep. You know, and Esau Edom is constantly herding, all right, the sheep to this juice. You know, and then you had this whole thing of what they say tomorrow they're supposed to roll out the 5G. All right, which we'll see how that, you know, how that play out. But we here, man. We finna see some things, man. You know, Esau is he's in his end game. You know, he's in his end game bag. All right. Now this is 2nd Ezra 5:1. It said, nevertheless, as coming the tokens, behold, the days shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in great number. All right, and the way of truth shall be hidden. You know, and it says, and the land barren of faith. All right, because Esau is going to create these circumstances where people are going to lose hope, man. You know, and people are constantly giving in. First with the juice, and then, all right, with their charisma right behind it, man. You know, so we're finna see people just taken by the masses and be herded, you know, as sheep. This is 2nd Ezra 5, 2nd Ezra 5:2. It said, but iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. All right, and that's what we're seeing. So through this man's media and programming and enchantments, it's increasing in iniquity. All right, the longer this man is in power, the more wicked, chaotic, and violent it's going to get, because this man is now in the energy of just pushing Satan right in front of your face, man. You know, so that was the point. You know, I just wanted to go into that, bring out that information. You know, Lord will, it was informative, you know, and edifying. All right, and these are times that we are in, man. You know, so this is how the devil gets down. You know, and this is what he's presenting, you know, to the masses. All right. So Lord will, you brothers and you few souls are edified. Till the next time, say Shalom, Kwam Yasha'Allah, Abab Ball, DTA soon. You know, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Call Allah Yahweh Shai. Shalom.